I think he is all in on the Ty Simpson pick, but I think the thing that bothers me, if I'm a veteran in that locker room, I'm like, what the hell can this guy do to help us win a Super Bowl this year? Like, I would really be bothered by that. Because the Rams are my favorite going into the 2026 season. To be the Super Bowl favorite, obviously the game is being played in Los Angeles, but I don't give a damn about 27 and years beyond that. Like, I want guys that can help affect us right now. And so I get it, the fact that you're probably not going to be picking that high again. You got an opportunity to pick a quarterback that, will be post Matthew Stafford. But, man, I don't like it.
That's where I'm at with it, because I think at 13th overall, and Evans on the other side of this, so you said that'd be like a developmental player. Somebody who wouldn't see the field all that often. I mean, a receiver could still help you. A defensive end could still help you.
Right, but what Damien's saying is really interesting, because now we're presenting a whole different side of it, right? You presented, Courtney, the side of McVay's annoyed. Mm-hmm. He's presenting the side of, I'm Damien Woody. I'm a 10-year vet in this league. I've won Super Bowls. I've given my blood, sweat, and tears. You're caring about 27 and 28. I'm here in 26.
Sure.
Which I think is an interesting take. I hadn't thought about it that way.
So, and of course, Matthew Stafford comes into the frame here, Damien, because we hear Kelly Stafford reached out to Ty Simpson after he was drafted, and that Matthew Stafford was made aware of it, but we haven't heard how he feels about it yet. Like, does he have a responsibility to reach out to him, to take him under his wing, even though he's coming off an MVP season? This has been made very clear. This is his team. How does Matthew Stafford have to approach this if you're going to say he approached it in the right way?
I think it depends on who you ask. There's been some quarterbacks that's like, it's not like Joe Flacco, I think, famously said, it's not my job to mentor the guy behind me. I'm here to go out here and win football games. Other guys will say, it's my job to pay it forward. Someone helped me along the way, and so I'm going to pay it forward and help the young guy, behind me. So I think it's just really about the mentality of the player in that particular situation.
We're talking with ESPN NFL analyst Damien Woody, joining us here on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. Damien, if the Get Up producers told you today you're only allowed to talk about one team post-draft, which team would you talk about?
Oh, man, that's a good one. I know I'm going to hate to sound like a homer here. I thought the Jets did a fantastic job, to be honest with you, because it's not just about this year. I think they've raised the floor so much with the infrastructure of their team, particularly on offense. I think Geno Smith is going to, the roster that Geno Smith has around him this year as opposed to last year with the Las Vegas Raiders is night and day. But I think more importantly, this year sets the table for next year when the Jets ultimately would get their quarterback. I think it's fascinating. I like what the Cleveland Browns did. I think I think this is the second year in a row the Cleveland Browns knocked it out of the park. The Cleveland Browns scouting department deserves a ovation, because they've found a way where they've added some legit players. Last year, we saw what that draft class looked like last year, and I think they've done the same thing this year. And so if they can ever get their quarterback situation figured out, I think the Browns will truly be on their way.
There was some other things I was grumpy about that, you just navigate normally. But I think the main thing, Kyle, was you just wanted to make sure that I would have been stoic by nature anyways, just based on the respect for Matthew, because it's a unique situation. You get a chance to be able to, take a player that you like at a really important position, but you don't want it to be minimized or misunderstood in terms of what this means in terms of our investment and our commitment to Matthew for as long as he wants to continue to play. And so you're kind of teetering that line, and clearly, I came off a little grumpier than normal.
Okay, so that was McVay with Peter Schrager and Kyle Brandt on the coverage on Friday. He was unhappy about other things going on in his life, I guess.
That's nonsense.
Oh, you don't...
Lies, and more lies.
You guys don't believe? I think
the damage control that came out from that interview to what was being told behind the scenes of he's just very protective of Matthew Stafford. He wants it to still come across that this is Matthew's team. And he even said that. He's like, yeah, this is Matthew's team. He can maybe come in and compete with Stetson Bennett for a backup job. He's very defensive. And the one thing that we know about Sean McVay is he has a horrible poker face, which is great. Like, I love coaches who can't lie well because you can see it right on their face. And that was somebody in the moment who wanted to use that pick on a player that could benefit the team for right now. So whether receiver, when we had Schefter on last week, remember he was talking about defensive end. I think even though defensive end doesn't help you right now, McVay probably would have been happier with that pick because you're starting to build towards the future in a way where it doesn't stress out the quarterback room. There doesn't create controversy in the quarterback room.
You just said something really interesting. When we go back to that moment last week, we were all sitting there like, oh, that's interesting what Adam's saying, because it was, let's get a defensive end now because Jared Verse or Byron Young at some point, they're going to want a big deal.
And they can't pay both of them $40 million a year.
So you're doing the same thing that you would have done with that pick with Simpson. The only difference, of course, and it's a big difference, is that pick can get on the field on a third down where Ty Simpson in a dream world is not on the field. But I'm glad you said that because they weren't, like the complaint was they should have used the 13th pick on a developmental player, just not at that position.
Or a receiver.
Which also would not have been a starter.
Not necessarily, but Devontae Adams getting up there in age, Puka Nacua, some off-field stuff. Is he going to be around the team the whole year? Like questions about his availability naturally. I think that what you saw from Sean McVay and what you heard, the signs were there all along. There was an interview that he did with Kay Adams out at the owners' meetings when Ty Simpson was brought up. And paraphrasing here, but he said something along the lines of, "You've probably done more homework on him than I have."
Wait a second. Wait, hold on. You and I both praised the Chiefs for having the poker face, saying that they weren't even interested in who they drafted. They never even contacted him.
Yeah, with Mansour Delane.
And great job by them because they fooled everybody. They traded up with the Browns. Why is it not then applied to McVay?
In what way?
Well, why? You've done more homework on him than I have, right? Maybe he has done the homework and he doesn't want to tell the media. So you're not believing McVay. You think the Rams are not on the same page here.
I think it's because McVay has a strong affinity for Matthew Stafford. And first and foremost, this is very different than the Atlanta Falcons situation of signing Kirk Cousins to that big deal that gave him $100 million guaranteed and then not telling him they were going to draft Michael Penix Jr.
Right.
McVay, Snead, whoever it was, after Thursday said that they talked to Matthew Stafford. They clued him in that this was going to happen. He's in year 18. You've got to have good teams always draft a quarterback before they need one. But I viewed that as Sean McVay realizing pound for pound, they probably had the best team in the NFL last year. Did they win a Super Bowl? No, but they came damn close against a Super Bowl winner. He wants to win right now. And every coach, general managers are thinking about next year. Head coaches are thinking about right now. How do we win right now? I don't want to be worried about tomorrow, today.
They got
I'm going to worry
Trent
about
McDuffie
today.
in the first round. That's how they win right now. They got Trent McDuffie. You traded last year's first, and I said the day after the draft, the only guarantee you could make about the 2026 draft is that the Rams will take a quarterback in the first round. I said it last year. They got Trent McDuffie in the first round this year. They got an all-pro cornerback with the 29th pick. If they just flip-flopped it, this wouldn't be a conversation. I understand what you're saying, but let me put you on the spot with this.
Okay.
If you, Courtney Cronin, at 7:24 a.m. Eastern Time on April 27th, 2026, had to pick an NFC representative for the Super Bowl next year, who would it be?
I think the Rams. I do.
So then they didn't miss that. And you know what part of your reasoning is, maybe subconsciously, is that I understand Mahomes did it, but in reality, over the last 20-some-odd years in the league, no one repeats. No one repeats. So because Seattle won last year, part of you probably eliminates them from this year because it's so difficult.
Lost their offensive coordinator, lost their running back.
So then what are we talking about? You could make the argument, and I have, that the LA Rams had the best first round of the draft because there's no one that is acquired in the NFL that is going to help a good team in the first round more so than McDuffie will help the Rams. Dexter Lawrence will not help the Bengals like McDuffie will help the Rams.
Correct.
Now, Michael Parsons. I shouldn't say that. Michael Parsons, obviously.
Well, I mean, I do think that, you brought Dexter Lawrence up. I do think he is going to change the complexion of that defense. But to the degree of other players, other positions, we're not usually saying a defensive tackle does that unless it's Aaron Donald. But here's another thing. What if the look on Sean McVay's face, like, he understands good teams draft quarterbacks before they need to, which they are a good team. There's a reason that their name was brought up along with somebody like Mike McCarthy. His name was brought up in connection to Ty Simpson. What if they just view Ty Simpson as not that guy? Man, we used our first round pick on not that guy that we really wanted in the building.
If that's the case, then there is that schism in the building. Because if Sean McVay conceptually is saying, I follow the QB rules, as, featured on ESPN.com not once but twice. No big deal. I follow the QB rules, draft a quarterback when I want one, not when I need one. But that ain't the quarterback I want. That's an entirely different story.
That's how I feel.
Okay.